Hey everybody, welcome to the Pet Food Puzzle Guy. And I tell you, I try to be respectful on this channel. I've kind of learned, those of you that know me that have watched this channel, I try to bring both camps together, the so-called holistic, integrated people over here and the science-based, more academic people over here, and that we can learn from each other. And I've tried to do that in my videos. I've tried to be patient. Many of you have said that I'm more patient than you would be, and I appreciate that. But today I'm angry. I really am. I'm kind of getting sick of this stuff, and I'm sick of fools that don't know a damn thing getting out there and deceiving pet parents. And that they are. They're not fools because they're making money. So I guess you can't call them fools if they're making money. But I'm sick of it. You guys know what I do. I watch videos so that when I see bad information, I try to counter that to help you as pet parents understand this is all pet food marketing. This is all snake oil salesman crap. Don't believe it. Here's what we know from board certified nutritionists. Here's the truth as we know it right now, based on science, not based on philosophy or BS to sell a product or a food or a recipe or a consultation. I'm so tempted to just give out my telephone number and tell you folks, just call me. Just call. I will never charge you to just give you good, useful information versus these people that want ridiculous amounts of money that don't know anything. They don't know more than you. They don't. As a matter of fact, they know worse because they've twisted it to say something that's untrue. It's better when you just don't know, but when you think you know and you're screwing people for money. Okay, so I want to get into this today. I don't want to just keep going on here, but I watch videos and I notice most of them are like 2-3 years old. The whole big thing of your vet is stupid and selfish, and the big three, the big kibble companies are out to kill your pet. That's kind of subsided. When I look at videos, a lot of them are pretty old. But sure enough, so I was looking at one today from Sam the retailer, and it really got me angry what he said. But then I realized it was 3 years old. So I thought, well, in 3 years, he's probably toned down. He's probably learned, just like I have if you're a YouTube creator, whatever you want to call us, you kind of learn. I've learned to be nicer and try to be more understanding of people because understand where they're coming from. So he did this video 3 years ago. And I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt that, okay, this is really destructive what he's saying. This is really totally false. This is not helping anybody out there. But it was 3 years ago. I've kind of by watching him lately, he's not as bad. So I want to show you that. And then sure enough, just hours ago, he posted a thing, not a video, but a post where the man is a fool. The man knows nothing. The man will say anything because he's a retailer. It's in his blood. That's all he could do is take marketing, take hype, and promote it to make money. That's all he's doing. And as a matter of fact, with all the bad information he offers, for $75 euro, I guess that's about $85 in US dollars, you can talk to him personally for 30 minutes. I swear, I'm so tempted to say, here's my telephone number. Maybe we'll set up a time. I don't know, Wednesday mornings, 8:30 Eastern time. I don't know, whatever. But it just makes me, I know that would be a really bad idea. Give you guys my number. I know I'd be swamped, and some of you, we'd probably be on for hours. So it's probably not a good idea, but it just makes me so angry. So anyway, I want to get into this. Let's watch the first video. And then I want to show you the post he made that shows he's learned nothing. He is no better today than he was 3 years ago. And yeah, I'm sorry if that's disrespectful. I'm sorry if I'm not, being whatever, but it's bad information that's harming sick animals. You want to debate over your healthy animal and what they need. That's great. We all can do that. We all have an opinion. Most of us don't know what we're talking about, but we have an opinion. That's fine because our animals are healthy, okay? We're probably not going to kill them unless we do something really stupid. But we're talking about sick animals that are under the care of a veterinarian. And this fool, again, I got to stop calling him a fool. This snake oil salesman, because that's exactly what he is. I'm sorry, that's what he is. He can get all mad. Hey, if he ever wants to have a debate, I'm here because the guy is just harming animals. I know he believes he's doing good. I really do believe that. But the stuff he says is absolute. It just shows he knows nothing. I don't know what he learned in the few nutrition classes he took. But when I compare what he says to what Peter, a resident nutritionist, that it's going for his master's, in nutrition, and the stuff he says, holy cow, you can see a difference between somebody that's learning actually nutrition and somebody that's giving you a bunch of horse shit. And that's what he's given. Sorry, but that's how upset I am. Let's go ahead and look at the first video. Okay, so again, about 3 years ago, Sam did a video on itchy dogs and the causes, and most of it was very factual. He went through actually something I don't get into much, but that there's certain breeds that are more prone to certain food sensitivities or actual immune system allergies. So that was all good, and he said we need to be more responsible at breeding and all. So I'm right on. Sounds great. Sounds like that's something he kind of knows stuff about. That's great. Then food allergies, and then there's environmental allergies, and this is where he starts going off the rails. He does talk about an elimination diet, which you all know, if you've ever been through it, it's horrible to try to do, but you have to have your animal only eat that novel ingredient, that novel protein that they've never been exposed to before, and hopefully we can see results. And sometimes it could take up to 12 weeks, a derm specialist will tell you. So they can't have anything else. If you give them Thanksgiving dinner or a treat or something like that, you've blown the whole trial. So it really is a very difficult thing to do. And of course, he never got into there's the options between novel ingredient approach and the hydrolyzed protein approach, which I do have videos on. Didn't really want to get into the derm part of this. It's his attitude and his advice that he's giving you if you went to your vet and your vet said, let's try this diet from the vet clinic. This is Sam's response to that. And this is what really, again, he said it 3 years ago. If he was still saying it, I'd have a problem. And guess what? He still is. But listen what he said 3 years ago.
And I would venture to say that if you have been to the vet and the vet has put you on a quote-unquote prescription diet, to go against the vet and to stop feeding that food immediately, because if you take a prescription bag of dog food and you turn it over, you will see the very ingredients I am talking about. You will see meat and animal derivatives. You will see sugar. You will see maize. You will see corn gluten meal. You will see rice, and you will see barley. And those ingredients are causing the dog to be like they are.
He has no idea.
Just stop listening to your veterinarian that has years of experience and tons of education and CE, continuing ed, and it goes to lectures and learns all about these diets and works with derm specialists, canine and feline derm specialists, and learns all that. No, you should ignore them. Don't listen to them. You need to listen to Sam the retailer because he knows better. I'm trying. I probably will not be able to publish this video because I know I'm just going to get too crazy here. What arrogance? What is arrogance the right word? Tell me, what's the right word when you think you're that smarter than all these veterinarians out there that use these diets? Now, my experience, 34 friggin' years. That's a long time, okay? That's a long time. And what did I see with the diets that he's saying, don't feed those diets, they're garbage, right? They're terrible. I saw from Royal Canin, I saw from Purina, and I saw from Hills, okay? I saw those 3 diets save animals' lives because the animals were so bad that the pet owners were ready to put them down. That's how bad some of these cases are. And these diets saved their lives. I've seen them work every day for 34 years. And again, whether it was Hills, Royal Canin, or Purina, I've seen them all work, okay? I can tell you why I like this one better or why the nutrient level of this one is better for seniors, this one's more puppy. I could do all that as a veterinary rep, but for him, this guy thinks he knows it all and doesn't know squat. He knows squat. For him to say, no, you need to turn against your veterinarian and not listen to him or her and listen to a friggin' retailer. Tell me that makes sense. If you do that, now you're a fool. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm really sorry, because I know retailers are so good at painting this story, and that they take the marketing from these pet food manufacturers, and they're all getting so good at it now. They are so good now with social media, and they'll convince you of almost anything as long as you don't listen to your vet. The whole pillar of their whole scheme, their whole marketing scheme, the one thing they have to do first before anything else is destroy your trust with your veterinarian, because your vet will never agree with the stuff that they're saying. So you got to destroy that credibility of the veterinarian. And of course, what do we hear? They do that all the time. Most will not come out like this. And again, I thought, well, that's 3 years ago. He was a little more, kind of whatever, radical back then, but he's matured. He's realized you can't do that. And one, it's not true. But this is 3 years ago, and this is what he's saying. Make sure you don't listen to your vet, because they don't know anything about nutrition. And the typical ingredientist. Let me choose ingredients over here that really are so low on the allergen list from derm specialists, but I'll use those to say that's what's causing your dog's food allergy. Where when you talk to a derm specialist, and I just asked one the other day just to confirm, protein is the problem. Protein can't be the problem if you're Sam. Protein's magic. Protein is just, it's like fairy dust and unicorn powder. So I don't know, it's all you need. It doesn't matter what your pet ailment they have. You just need to feed protein and more of it. Oh, but it's got to be meat protein. Sorry, Sam. Talk to a friggin' derm expert and they'll tell you, no, sorry, it's protein. That's the problem. That's the allergen. It's not sugar. It's not preservatives. It's not colorings. It's protein. Okay. Almost any, and then I did ask, okay, what about, fresh protein, fresh meat protein versus meat meal. Okay. And the answer I got back was same, no difference. You still have intact molecular weight of that protein. And if the animal is going to respond or react to it, they're going to react no matter what form it's in. Okay? That's what the experts are saying, not some. Okay, I'm going to try to be nice. Okay, let's just keep going, because I'm probably going to have to edit this whole video.
So stop feeding prescription diets from vets that do not care about your dog and that don't want your dog to get better. Is a lot better not to trust vets when it comes to nutrition than to trust them and spend month after month after month after month with dog food that is rubbish, that you are paying for, and that your dog, bless them, is not getting better.
For him to say it's rubbish just shows he knows absolutely nothing, and he's not trying to. He is choosing to be ignorant. He's choosing to be stupid and not actually investigate therapeutic diets to see how amazing they are, all the research behind them, the research that is going on right up to this day all over the world, that there's collaboration with all those board certified nutritionists looking at all the information, trying to do the very best for our animals. And then you got a friggin' retailer telling you, don't listen to any of that. Oh, and all that research is just rubbish. And they don't work. That's what's amazing. Where do these people live? What cave do they live in that they refuse to pop their heads out of to see if they just talk to a few veterinarians? Hey, how's that Purina HA work? How's that Hill's ZD work? How's that Royal Canin HP work? Works great. That's why I use it. I'm a veterinarian. I don't want to sell something or recommend something that doesn't work. It's a bad reflection on me from a business standpoint, from a personal standpoint. Oh no, but they do it just because they're so stupid. Oh no, that's right. They get kickbacks from the companies to recommend something they know isn't going to work, because you know what? They don't care about your dog. He just told you, right? Unbelievable. Okay, let's fast forward to today. Okay, this is why this video is being made, because of what I saw this morning. Sam puts a post on his page on YouTube, and he shows a bag of Hill's prescription diet canine metabolic. Now, if you're not familiar with metabolic, I got to tell you a little bit of this before I can explain why his rant here is so disturbing. Metabolic, lots of research went into it. Hill's has been dealing with obesity management for decades, same way for Purina, same way with Royal Canin. And The failure rate of putting a dog on and cat for that matter, even worse, on an obesity diet, generally the failure rate was at least 80%, if not higher. And basically what we did, we filled the dog or pet up with fiber, and we reduced the calories. So you're changing the energy amount in the food, and that was supposed to work. And all that fiber was supposed to satisfy them, so that even though we could feed them a normal amount of food, and the fiber would kind of satisfy them. What we did not know, as we learned later in research, and this isn't just Hills, but everybody's been learning this, it's all metabolism, okay? And what they found was they looked at the genes that were affecting obesity, a very complicated thing to do, of course, and they looked at lean dogs and overweight dogs, and I have videos on this, and what they found was that actually the genes that are fat burning in these overweight dogs were downregulated. So they really weren't burning fat. They're designed to burn fat, but they just weren't. And the fat storing genes were upregulated. And I think to this day, we're not really sure, is the obesity causing that, or is that just genetic, whatever. But clearly you could see that, and you could call it unhealthy metabolism, that the pet just isn't burning calories and fat, they're storing it. Their body's designed to do that now instead of the other way around. And what Hills did through lots of research, years of research, they designed a diet that actually activates the metabolism so that the animal starts burning fat and not storing it. And they do that again by changing the gene expression. They also came out with Perfect Weight, Science Diet Perfect Weight, for a lot less money with the same technology. I watched those diet. Now, I was a Hills rep for, again, over 3 decades, and I would do obesity seminars. And it would be kind of like, yeah, here's all the stuff I can tell you, but you know what? The failure rate's going to be really high. Then metabolic came out. We started using it. We learned the research that Hills had done, even with double blind. Even pet owners that didn't know they were feeding a weight loss food, and their pets lost weight. Their veterinarians were in on it, but they weren't. It was like, wow, this is different. And once it hit the market, it was amazing. Okay, so here's all this amazing research, state-of-the-art research, looking at gene expression, and of course from that they went on to manage arthritis with gene expression diets with JD. So metabolic is definitely one of those show-off diets from a company that's been coming out with diets for about 80 years now. And so what does Sam have to say about that when one of somebody he knows, metabolic, was recommended to this overweight pet? So let's hear what Sam, the retailer, has to say. I'm really tired of bad veterinary advice. It's destroying the profession. Bad veterinary advice. What would that be? The problem was simple. A dachshund being fed around 220% of his daily food allowance. The vet said the dog needed to lose 3.5 kilograms of weight to get to target. A dog was on a fresh food and plenty of treats. So instead of taking 5 minutes of his busy day to explain to the customer that overfeeding is a matter of energy balance, calories in, calories out, and going over the daily allowance of food for the dog, the importance of cutting treats, and telling the family to be strict with the dog, the vet recommended this. Let's just stop right there. Vets do this all the time. They talk to people all the time. Sam almost diagnosed, he diagnosed the problem. This is a family that's going to overfeed. You think you're going to convince everybody in that family, from grandma down to the kids or whatever, that now you're going to be the perfect nutritionist and just feed this amount, and we're going to cut out treats and blah, blah, blah. Veterinarians know that doesn't work. Okay, as a matter of fact, again, I worked with veterinarians setting up obesity programs. Part of that protocol, the ones that worked the most, was when we would tell the client, you know what? Here's the amount of food based on your bag here and your dog's ideal body weight. This is how much food you should feed. We want you to go home and feed that amount for 2 months, and then schedule the appointment now for 2 months out for a weigh-in. Bring the dog in with our scales, and let's see if just by feeding the correct amount of food based on what their weight should be, not what their current weight is, let's see if that works. Very simple. Everybody pretty much thinks that's great. Why do vets do it? It's not going to work. They pretty much know it. Now, every animal's different. For some, it might work, but for most, it's not going to work. Why? Because their metabolism is so screwed up. They just want to store energy and fat. They don't want to burn it. So just by feeding less, it doesn't work. And now the dog is begging, which means what? That family that has a habit of doing all these things, plenty of treats and fresh food, they're just going to go right back to it. So the failure rate is really high. So Sam, that is why the veterinarian will not go that route. Some do if the client is pushback, but why don't we just change the dog's metabolism, get them start burning calories and fat? Now, true, just feeding them metabolic, there still has to be some changes here. Now, you can cheat with metabolic because it's not so much a low calorie food. Again, it's changing metabolism, but you got to cut out the other stuff too. So there has to be some, what would we call it, lifestyle changes here. That's fine. Did the veterinarian go over that? I can tell you again, having worked with vets for years, sometimes clients will come to the pet retailer, which I was one for a while, and say, my vet didn't mention anything about this, or he didn't mention anything. And I know the vet, and I know there's no way that they didn't go over that with them. So sometimes clients just don't remember what they were told, okay? So yes, that should have been gone over. But this is the part that really gets me upset. The vet recommended this. The problem, you'll ask, well, recommended this, the bag of metabolic. So the problem, you'll ask, well, aside from being filled with cellulose, digest, and pea bran meal for fiber, it does not solve the problem. Okay, now I just told you it solves the problem better than any other low-calorie so-called diet food out there. The science is there. The evidence is there. The results are there. Sam, with his head in his cave, obviously doesn't know that, okay? Why does the vet recommend metabolic? Because he sees it working all the time. That's why. Not all the time, but I tell you what, as a Hills rep, I went from 90% failure rate with RD and Purina OM and all those diets to, she's at probably 80% success. I mean, it was pretty fun to talk about that diet and the research behind it. So ingredientist, he looks at cellulose. Digest has nothing to do with fiber. Pea bran meal, that would be a fiber source. We literally have thousands of randomized controlled trials and meta-analysis stressing the importance of energy balance. Okay, that is true. Clearly this family was feeding too many calories. But the old less calories is going to mean they're going to lose weight and be healthy. We've proven with their own diets that doesn't work. You have to change their metabolism. You're not going to burn a few pounds of body fat just by reducing calories. You got to get the body to actually start utilizing it and not wanting to store it, okay? Just as true with people. We all know people that have really high metabolism can almost eat anything, and we know people with low metabolism, they could, if they walk in a room that has food, they gain weight, okay? It's all metabolism. So Sam totally misses the point here because he never looks at nutrition, never, ever, ever. He just looks at ingredients, which makes him the ultimate quintessential ingredientist of the world. He really is. What else does he say? A simple 5-minute talk about nutrition would have been enough to educate this lady forever. But no, the vet wanted to sell cellulose. They love picking on cellulose. I don't understand why. Cellulose is a plant fiber, very effective fiber source used in many therapeutic diets, and it's not actually cheap among some of the other beet pulp and some of the other fiber sources, but they love picking on it. Sam doesn't go to the extreme of saying it's sawdust that they sweep up on the bottom of the on the floor, but clearly, yes, the vet just wanted to sell cellulose, Sam. That's what he wanted to do because he makes so much money selling cellulose, the kickbacks he gets. Of course, bad advice is everywhere. Yeah, tell me about it. But veterinarians have been in the spotlight for a while now. This is today now. This isn't 3 years ago. This is from this morning. Veterinarians are in a bad spotlight now. I wonder why that is, Sam. Why do you think that is? Because board-certified nutritionists are starting to tell veterinarians that they're recommending the wrong foods or something like that? Where do we hear that? I don't hear that. Some people are trusting them less and less, and sometimes it's even understandable because they're not playing your friggin' little game of playing ingredients and lying to people and fooling them into spending tons of money on attractive looking ingredients and selling them food that's crap, because that's what it is. If the nutritional value is unbalanced or excessive, in my book, that's crap. I know nothing about dog tracheotomies, so I'll never talk about it. So if vets do not understand simple nutrition, should they be selling pet food at all? I want to give you a gesture with my hand, but I won't since I have a clean channel here. But you are so full of it. And this is from this morning. If this was 3 years ago, I'd give you a pass. Well, live and learn, right? This is from this morning. I think it's disgusting what you're doing. I really do. I think it's disgusting. Okay, because I read the comments then, oh, thank you so much for telling me this. Oh, I had no idea. Just one of the first comments. The vet recommended this food. I was just ready to go buy it. Thank you so much. Thank you, because now that animal is going to stay obese, okay? The chances of it being successful without a diet that's changing their metabolism is pretty much nil. But you're the expert. You're the retailer. You're the guy that gets to make 85 bucks every 30 minutes to tell people what? Feed less. Oh, okay, thanks. $85, please. There's times I want to stop doing this channel because I just get so frustrated because I'm the voice in the wilderness. Thank God, Dr. Ray's, her channel's getting bigger and bigger, and I try to promote it all I can because she's a vet and she's much more articulate than me. There's so many others out there. I'll put up the list of the great ones again. Even BK Pets is coming along and just entertaining and educating. We've got to stop these people. We have to just, don't want to stop them, don't want to take them off the air or anything, but we got to counter them. And please, I ask you, send this video to other people that you know, okay? I mean, we got to get the word out because this is disgusting. If this was 3 years ago, that's one thing. That's when everybody was pulling that stuff. I see Dr. Becker, and well, not so much Dr. Judith. Dr. Becker is coming around. I see, Rachel starting to talk nutrients. So maybe, there's some light at the end of the tunnel. This guy, he's hopeless.
Idea! He has no idea!
He's hopeless. So, yeah, you want to go watch his channel, go watch his channel to see what an ingredient test is. He's committed to. If you want to know what it is, there you go. But please don't take it and believe that it's nutrition, because it's crap. It's the stuff you go in the backyard, and if you're on a good diet and it's nice and firm, you go and pick it up. That's what this guy's selling. I'm done. I hope you guys are doing well. Take care. Okay, so 3 years ago, Sam did a video on itchy dogs and the causes. Excuse me. Okay.